Hey, this is Jeremy Frazee, FWM Community Connection, and I am here today for the Community Spotlight with Craig Gullion, who is the CEO of Compass Point Housing. So, Craig, I appreciate you taking the time to come do our interview today.
Well, thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for having me here today. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the vast majority of the viewers probably are not familiar with Compass Point Housing. So, if you could just tell us a little bit about what Compass Point Housing, who they are, and their overall mission.
Okay. Well, thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, Compass Point Housing, really, our mission is to provide a continuum of housing for everyone in recovery from drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
Obviously, people live in this community or from this community understand the drug epidemic that's hit our state, it's plagued our nation, and obviously we deal with that as well. But Compass Point Housing provides recovery housing for individuals that are seeking help for the recovery process for addiction needs.
There's no doubt that I think probably every household has dealt with it, either their family, friends, a loved one, a school district.
Right.
So there's no doubt that need is huge.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys been in existence, or what's your makeup as far as?
Good question. Recovery housing in any kind of a sense has been in operation in the United States for over 150 years. The counseling center, a lot of people in this community are aware of the counseling center, which has been in operation since the 80s. Back in the 90s, they saw a need they had outpatient services for people facing addiction. A lot of it at that time was alcohol addiction and other drug addiction. But they found that people got better service if they could get them out of their environments into a safe and sober environment. So they started in this community with recovery housing at that point. With the growth of the counseling center, back about 4 years ago, they decided to create another nonprofit entity called Compass Point Housing. So that's what we do, is we focus only on housing sites where people are getting the treatment, the outpatient treatment at the counseling center for their addiction needs.
Okay, gotcha. Now, when it comes to Portsmouth in our area, a lot of times it's just hearsay or just somebody's personal experience. But what's the importance of the housing or the recovery housing in combination with the actual recovery process? Why is the housing needed to help these individuals progress in their treatment?
Yeah, it's a valid question. It's very vital. In fact, it's instrumental to people's recovery process. What it does, Jeremy, is it takes individuals that are seeking help for their addiction needs. It gets them out of their environment. A lot of times people live in an environment that's not conducive to recovery. They're living with other people that are using, in active use. They may not have transportation to come to outpatient services and things of that nature. So what we do is we get them out of that environment. We get them into a safe and sober living arrangement with peers. So it'd be individuals like you and I, maybe sharing a bedroom. Maybe we're dealing with the same addiction needs. Okay, so we can share and help one another. A lot of peer support takes place there.
Accountability.
Right, accountability. Now, our levels of housing vary depending upon the services needed. But individuals can come from, just off the street, self-referral. They can come from, a lot of times from the court system, court referrals. Okay, and they come into supportive housing that we have at Compass Point Housing. Along with that, they get outpatient treatment through the counseling center. Also, another one of our partnering agencies is Compass Community Health. They're on 11th Street. That's just it's open to the public. It's just a healthcare facility there. I actually go there. I'm a patient there as well. But that's one of the unique things that the counseling center has developed with Compass Point Housing and Compass Community Health is 100% of our residents get health care. Okay, so there's a lot of needs, a lot of health needs. You can imagine people dealing with addiction issues. The last thing they're worried about is their other health.
Yeah.
They're trying to feed that addiction. So they get into our environment. They learn how to deal with their addiction. They get the sobriety time. Now we start dealing with the health, their actual health issues. They have a lot of people that have maybe heart disease or diabetes or other kind of ailments and chronic illnesses that now they get to deal with that as well while they're in our care, when they're in our housing and our level of housing.
Gotcha. So you had mentioned the different services or different levels that you guys offer.
Mhm.
Can you go a little bit into the different levels or?
Yeah, I'd love to, because, again, our mission is to have a continuum of housing for everyone in recovery. And what we mean by that is people that are coming, whether they're coming from incarceration or from the streets or from self-referrals, they come into a level of housing that has 24/7 supervision. Okay, so what we have is recovery support specialists, people that are uniquely qualified to deal with people in their addiction needs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these folks are there around the clock. Okay, so they're providing support, they're providing transportation, whether it's to their outpatient treatment appointments or to health care or to legal appointments, things of that nature. And they help them with food preparation, help them, get a menu together, help them prepare the food. They deal with like chores list.
Okay.
They deal with, making sure, curfews are enforced, things of that nature. So that level of housing is our highest level of care in a recovery house. And that's not uncommon around our state. Now, folks that are in that level, we consider a level 3 or the highest level of care for us. Once they go through the outpatient treatment through the counseling center and they graduate through that program, we have another level of housing. It's kind of a transitional phase for folks. We call it level 2 housing, that they can apply for that. So they have to apply to get in that level of housing. When they're in that level of housing, they still stay connected to outpatient treatment. It is on a lot less scale. Okay. With that outpatient treatment, they get case management services. That's really focused on life skills. It's focused on employment readiness.
Mm-hmm.
And through the counseling center, they have they actually have an excellent program. It's called Steps to Success. It's set up for the folks that have graduated through the intensive outpatient programming. And in that, they have a clean hire program. I mean, you may have heard about it, but it's connected with a lot of employers in our area that connect to those folks that, give people a second chance or a first chance that find gainful employment. So we're trying to help folks get that job, give them the skills necessary to get up, get dressed, get ready, get to there on time, stuff like that. But the key component of that, of every one of our residents like that, is they can pass a drug test because they're all drug screened. So we do that on a systematic basis with everyone that's in housing. Now that level of housing, Jeremy, kind of extends out for some people. Some folks go through that fairly quickly. But some people, based upon their needs, they may be there for months or even up to a year or longer, depending upon their needs. So you get a lot of people that have, they don't have, maybe in some cases they don't have a GED. So we link them to services to help them get their GED. Maybe they never had a driver's license or lost their driver's license due to they have fines and fees. But that opportunity, that level 2, help them finding a job, getting them work, so they can pay off court fines and fees, get their driver's license back. A lot of healing takes place in that process. Then the last step to that is what we consider permanent sober housing, or level 1 recovery housing, is for individuals that's gone through every phase of services. They may not be in services at all, but we have a housing option, and these are all gender specific. So we have a men's house, we have a women's house. But these are for individuals that have graduated through the whole program as far as the outpatient treatment. And these folks are just sharing a house. So they may have, maybe like you and me, have a bedroom, you have a key to your own bedroom, we have maybe 2 other guys living there in their own bedrooms, but we share the common areas. And there's rules that still revolve around sobriety and abstinence, and then they are randomly drug screened, and then they have to attend recovery activities, meetings. But the exciting thing about that, Jeremy, is those folks, those individuals that live at that level are so giving to give back to people at that first phase. So and they're uniquely qualified to do that. So it's not uncommon for those folks to go back to that other level to talk to those individuals to say, hey, I made it, you can make it too. So that's what I've found in this recovery community here in our area. It's a bunch of giving people that are willing to give up their time and efforts to help somebody make it like they did and find success.
That's awesome. So it's definitely kind of a process, and you guys are definitely instrumental in seeing, from where somebody comes to that level 3 and kind of gradually goes through to the end result, it's probably rewarding to see
Yeah,
that.
it is very rewarding. It's really kind of a blessing to be able to be a part of that.
Mhm.
And you know, really the success really and the credit it should be given to those individuals that are making that journey. You know, there's a lot of you know, we see drug addiction as a brain disease, as it is. There's a lot of stigma, a lot of negative stigma revolves around addiction and recovery.
Mhm.
And anytime we try to find a suitable place, a house or whatever,
Mhm.
we deal with those issues,
Yeah.
Jeremy. And I understand that.
Yeah.
And I've faced that at every level. So you know, we're here in Sauter County. We also have a couple of houses in Adams County
Mhm.
where we have outpatient availability there. And we're looking right now in Adams County for a suitable location for single women,
Mhm.
as the counseling center is expanding their services in that regard. So it's you know, it's not as easy to find a suitable place. We value the anonymity of our residents, so we want to kind of protect you know, that the folks that are living there as
Mhm.
far as their anonymity.
Mhm.
We don't, you know, actually publicize
Yeah.
where our properties are for that reason.
Yeah.
But we operate, right now we have 19 properties that run that whole scale of levels from level 3 to level 1, and that's between Sauter County and Adams County. And a lot of people are shocked by that, about the quantity of homes, and it's like, well, where are these places? Well, there's a reason why you don't know where they
Yeah.
are. So we try to get into a community
Mhm.
and just try to assimilate into that community. You know, we have numerous neighbors that endorse us. You know, I talk to them from
Mhm.
time to time when I'm at those places. You know, and you know, we try our best to be good neighbors. We
Mhm.
have an actual good neighbor policy for our residents. You know, and it has to do with you know, quiet times and being a good neighbor, and what, you know, what that
Respect.
means. Right.
Hmm.
So that's our role too, is to try to break down the stigma around recovery and recovery housing. And every time that we have a house that we're successful, I think that helps that, Jeremy.
Gotcha. Now, for anybody out there that's wanting information, or if they're dealing with, whether it's they're getting treatment and this might be the next step to help them with their recovery, what's the process for
Well,
somebody to look into the housing
Yeah,
side?
that's an excellent question. Undoubtedly, there's going to be people watching this that are
Mhm.
either dealing with their own issues or have a loved one dealing with issues.
Right.
The uniqueness, again, of the counseling center and our affiliation there is that's where it starts. They have an admissions process right there.
Okay.
So they can contact the counseling center. They have a website. Okay, they have a Facebook page, so you can get on that and find the numbers. But that is the start. Also, the counseling center operates our crisis center. There's a crisis
Mhm.
center down 2nd Street. It has a 24/7 hotline. I'll leave some information here. People
Okay.
can contact you or
Yeah.
me if they need to get that information. But the crisis center is also a valuable asset to our community. And I saw statistics before on how that operates, and there's thousands of phone calls that they field within a year of people that are, whether it's mental health or addiction needs or whatever. So, you know, people can start there, or start a loved one there, or just get in touch with the counseling center. They can put them into the admissions process. They do generate a waiting list a lot of
Mhm.
times. But we do cater to people. We try to move people that are in our community up to the head of the line, so to speak. Then we also give preference to pregnant women. We have a unique program there at it's called Stepping Stones,
Mhm.
outpatient. They just opened a new outpatient office in New Boston, Ohio. That program specifically for moms with children or pregnant women.
Mm.
As you know, I've seen newspaper articles about that, about how opiate addiction has
Mhm.
affected our community and communities in Ohio, and how many addicted babies are being born. Well, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy, really. So we give preference to pregnant women that go into. We have a house. We call it Stepping Stones
Mhm.
House. It's located there on 2nd Street. It's a beautiful facility.
Mhm.
It's set up for moms with kids and pregnant women, and you know, we feel like you're just not dealing with one person. You're dealing with at least 2 people there. So if we can get to that person and help that mom to give birth to a drug-free baby, we've kind of hit a home
Difference.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since they started keeping statistics, I think since 2008, I think they statistically have had over 200 recovery babies born through that program.
Wow.
So, you know, and again, those people, you know, there's people listening to this that maybe don't totally buy into to 12-step or the recovery process, or they don't look as addiction as a disease necessarily. But if you look at it financially, if you just totally financially, you know, you think about a baby born that's actually drug addicted, the cost to us as taxpayers is enormous. They can truly be $1 million baby. So it's imperative that we get out there and try to help link these pregnant moms to services like the counseling center with supportive housing through Compass Point Housing, to truly give them that help, that encouragement, so they can be drug-free and abstinent and give birth to a drug-free baby. So I think it gives you know, that next generation a chance. Yeah. Because this is a generational problem, as you see. So you know, and the counseling center, Compass Point Housing, isn't the only answer, but you know, we're being part of that answer, and we need partners through our community with churches, other civic organizations. There's a lot of people that reach out to our residents to help them, and it's very much appreciated, and those people really appreciate that help as well.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to, you know, educate me a little bit more so, and the viewers, on what Compass Point Housing, what you guys are about, the services you guys offer. So if anybody out there, if you want information, get a hold of the counseling center, specifically Compass Point Housing. What's the best way for them to contact either the counseling center or yourself as far as getting information?
Well, the counseling center is 740-354-6685, or they could contact me through my office at Compass Point Housing offices at 354-5192.
Okay, great. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to watch, and Craig, appreciate your time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Anytime, Jeremy. Thanks.
Thanks.